once you put something online, it's there forever, is absolutely not true. Look at me in the eye and tell me it's impossible for Confessions from the Heart to go missing, because it did. Even though we live in a digital world, because it's so big now and mainstream as it is, it's starting to become not so different from just being outside in terms of hiding because of how crowded it is now. We definitely take things for granted and just assume whatever we see online stays online, but as we will see, that's not the case. So, let's talk about things you probably didn't know exist and maybe surprised you haven't even heard about. This is lost media that shouldn't have been lost, whether it's for historical purposes or just should be lost as in it had so much opportunity to be archived. Late night talk shows are the perfect candidate for having lost media. A program that runs late at night with a new episode almost every day for years straight lets a whole lot of room for content to slip through the cracks. There's already a notable example like The Tonight Show with Jay Leno in 2001 when a blackout occurred, leading to the episode being filmed entirely in the dark with just lit candles. And what most people remember who were there watching, the controversial failed magician trick where they made it look like the person performing the trick failed and ended up cutting the other person for real. Though thankfully this was just an unclear joke that went over many people's heads. This episode was lost for the longest time until last year it would be uploaded on YouTube in 2025. As of the making of this video, the only major late night talk show still running is The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon, The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, but it ends in May 2026, Late Night with Seth Meyers, and Jimmy Kimmel Live.
Raul Menendez to be here on the show tonight, but he had other plans. Something about an
which is the main subject here. The title Jimmy Kimmel Live stands out as it's not called The Tonight Show or Late Night with yada yada, etc., etc. Despite the name of the show, it is not actually filmed live. They are filmed about 5 hours before they appear on TV, but this was not always the case, and the name of the show was very true and what made it stand out from the rest of the crowd. Surprisingly, the very top of the Wikipedia page for Jimmy Kimmel Live mentions this, saying, contrary to its title, the show has not regularly aired live since April 23, 2004, when censors were unable to properly bleep censor a barrage of swearing from actor Thomas Jane. Its source links a news article from 2012 that goes over the history of the show and very briefly mentions this incident, but with nothing to add. It appears that the show had problems before the swearing incident, when they used to serve live alcohol on the set and one of the audiences had too many drinks and thrown up on the show. Although I'm pretty sure this is real, I can't confirm it, as it's shockingly hard to find any information on this. You can find people talking about on a forum on the Lost Media Wiki, though shockingly it doesn't even have a proper entry on the website to talk about it. One user on the forum said it was season 3 episode 79, and Thomas Jane was a guest star to promote the Punisher movie he starred in at the time. During the taping, he would either start swearing all over the place or on accident. Sources varied, and this would lead to the show switching to pre-recorded. No source of this info is given. I tried looking up on Google about this topic with the date set to April 22nd and April 30th, as this episode aired on the 23rd, hoping I would find a news article talking about this incident, but nothing of note came up except on the IMDb page, which supposedly was made when the episode was first aired, and lists Thomas Jane as one of the guests. I checked YouTube recordings, Internet Archive. Already, we're at a dead end kind of. There's not much else to say as there's not even much of a search happening at all. Maybe this video will give the topic more attention and people will look through their old recordings in hopes of finding it, as this is definitely an interesting topic and quite an important part of the show's history. Quick update, while editing this video, I actually found this news article from April 29th, which is exactly right around the time this episode would have aired. It does not mention any of the actual contents of who was in it, but it does mention about the show switching to pre-recorded format due to failures of censoring any swearing. So I think this should at the very least confirm that this is a real episode that has happened. But yeah, sorry about that. I don't know how I missed it. Whoops. I'm about to make some viewers feel old by saying this, but the era of Cartoon Network I grew up with was their See and Reel era. Up until around maybe We Bare Bears premiered. I watched too much TV as a child, I'm not gonna lie, but I'm passionate about the crap I watched. The stuff I watched during this era included Destroy, Build, Destroy, Hole in the Wall, Dude What Would Happen, Flapjack, Problem Solvers, Secret Mountain Fort Awesome, Heroes 108, Almost Naked Animals, Thumb Wrestling Federation. I saw this on Disney once. Can we go back? What the fuck is it? How did I miss this? What? It came out in 2010?
Coming up on Cartoon Network. Next, a new Hot Dog TV.
Hot Dog TV was a miniseries about a bunch of hot dog puppets doing stuff, I guess. Jim Henson's son, Brian Henson, was involved with the show, believe it or not, as he directed some of the episodes in this series, and in fact, the puppets featured here were from one of the Henson's company's own stage shows, Stuffed and Unstrung. What's crazy is how obscure this is. When Hot Dog TV came out, it was during a time when Cartoon Network was slowly gaining track again after the whole See and Reel fiasco, with shows like Adventure Time, Regular Show, Mad, Symbionic Titan, and yet I don't think anyone watched this. These were 2-minute episodes that would air after the main program finished airing. Almost all the show is lost and believed to have 5 episodes. That's it. It's wild to think that this show just sneaked right in, no one batted an eye, and just disappeared. I honestly didn't even think this was real because it looked so out of place, and for a while the only found footage we had was a VHS recording, which I thought was a little weird for 2010. Eventually an episode would be found from a VHS recording, as I mentioned, alongside a TV bumper as well. You can also find an old forum of people talking about the show as well. Later on, people would find one of the voice actors uploading a demo reel containing a very brief snippet of Hot Dog TV. You would think that something from Cartoon Network from the 2010s wouldn't go missing, but it looks like you can. What's also kind of crazy is that Hot Dog TV is not the only one. For the longest time, out of Jimmy's head was lost media. Then you have Bobby Says and Track Rats, which are almost completely lost. Maybe you could say this was before the internet was mainstream and not everyone was into preservation as we are today, but this segues right into the next part. Confessions from the Hart was a special on the Roku channel released in 2022 on Kevin Hart's birthday. It was made to promote Kevin Hart's NFTs. Maybe this should have stayed lost. The special acted as an entrance for Kevin Hart into the metaverse. Confessions from the Hart consists of 4 stories told by Kevin Hart himself. Each story was taken directly from Kevin Hart's RIP IGTV series on Instagram, which is probably why the audio sucks.
A lot of you guys misinterpreted this scene, so I'm about to give you the real deal behind this and some of the stuff that just wasn't in the edit. So
the special would release July 6, 2022, but would get removed fast as December 2023. Trailers would still be up on YouTube, but the special would go missing for almost a year until YouTube user RevoShock would upload it in September 2024.
this one here is this is a story from when I was in Scandinavia and I got food poisoning.
Man, I'm not a fan at all of the art style. It looks like iPhone emojis had a child with the Team America movie. I don't know how else to describe it, and the animation itself is very shittily motion captured. I really hope this wasn't an expensive production, or else they got ripped off. Also, Kevin Hart sounds so uninterested telling these stories.
And I was like, yeah, it don't. It's good as hell though, but it don't. Ended up leaving the chicken alone.
Christmas of 2013, I would get the blue Nintendo 3DS XL with a copy of Sonic Lost World. Game was awful, by the way, but I would end up loving the 3DS to death. I would play Mario Kart 7, Tomodachi Life, Smash Brothers 3DS, Make Ugly Me's, Base Raiders, and just so much more. I would use the app on the 3DS like Spot Pass, the internet browser, and by the way, for an insane amount of time, just look at that. My God, Wii U too, Miiverse and YouTube. But one of these I used was Nintendo Video. Nintendo Video was an app for the 3DS released in July 2011 and was shut down June 2015. The app was basically another video streaming service, but was mostly content from Nintendo. The videos were mostly in 3D and would be downloaded through Spot Pass on the 3DS. For those who don't know, Spot Pass was sort of like using data on your 3DS instead of Wi-Fi. It would allow you to connect to other 3DS users as you were walking by in real life. You would connect to internet hotspots and Nintendo Zone locations. So you would use Spot Pass and you would receive clips from Nintendo Video. Honestly, the only ones I ever remember getting was the Shaun the Sheep one and Tomodachi Life. Surprisingly, despite Nintendo having a YouTube channel, a majority of these videos would be lost once the service was shut down. These clips range from music videos to movie trailers and exclusive Nintendo content like the Tomodachi miniseries that is still mostly missing. I would love to see the rest of that series get found, as the second Tomodachi Life game is incoming, and it's not certain how much of it is found either. I guess it makes sense why so much of this went unarchived, with the massive amount of content just being locked to the 3DS. I presume I overestimated how often people keep track of things. Quick question, how do you watch movies? Still using physical media like DVDs, Blu-rays, VCDs if you want your movies to look like it's from LiveLeak? How about watching illegal cam rips when a movie first comes out? Back then, theatrical cuts were a great candidate for lost media. Sometimes movies are slightly different when they go to home media. You'll see debates about how the Matrix movie was actually intended to look, or The Big Lebowski, as they would get color changes in later home releases. Sometimes the directors want to tweak something after its original release. The first Scary Movie was slightly different when it came to VHS and DVD, as one of the scenes where Buffy is talking Ghostface's ear off, the scene goes on for much longer, hammering on the joke that she just does not shut up at all. This can be found in the word print version, but you can see people online saying that this is the scene that they remember watching in theaters. I watched Alvin and the Chipmunks in theaters, and I watched this scene where the chipmunks are hiding in the bowls, and for some reason young me was like, I am going to very distinctively remember this scene. And I remember Dave only picking up the middle bowl, while in the home release he picks up the left and middle bowl. Listen, I'm sure it's just Mandela effect. I was a weird kid. Leave me alone. I'm just dumb. Like, I also bugged my parents to watch Monsters vs. Aliens in 3D, only to very last second say, no, I don't want to watch this movie in 3D. So I ended up watching the whole movie in red and blue without the glasses just to be an asshole. Sorry, I'm getting sidetracked. There is a pretty cool Twitter account actually that shows very old theater recordings called Theater Bootleg Archives. It has recordings old as the 90s, like 1991. Pretty cool. When Disney released The Incredibles 2, it would be 14 years after the first movie released. In theaters, before The Incredibles 2 would run, a short message would play showing the actors and creators apologizing on camera for taking so long on the sequel. The apology was never released on any of the DVDs, Blu-rays, or streaming services, so the only way to find this is theater bootlegs. But how many people actually recorded this segment that wasn't part of the movie? It appears not many, because as of January 2026, the video for it is still mostly lost, but we do have all the audio for it. A video uploaded in June 2018 would show for just 1 second of the video before cutting to the outro. For a while, this was all we had. Jump forward to August 2025 and a full audio recording would be discovered from actually another older video uploaded around the same time. It was a review of the movie and included some audience reactions and the full audio recording of the apology. The person who made the review was contacted and asked if he had the video of the apology. He would say he will look into it and see if he still has it, but never responded back as far as I'm aware. Making the video portion still lost. Who knows? Maybe it's still up floating somewhere on the internet, on some piracy site waiting to be found. It's crazy a Disney movie from not even a decade ago with a clip in many theaters showed around the world, is now lost. And that's lost media you wouldn't expect to be lost. This is my first video on the channel, so I apologize for the crap quality. Hopefully I get better over time. Hopefully. Thank you so much for watching. It means a lot to me. And of all the things on here, definitely keep an eye out for the Jimmy Kimmel incident, because that's the one I'm most interested in personally. I've lived my whole life without Hot Dog TV, and I think I can continue to live without it some more. Alright, I love you all, and thank you once again. Take care. Bye-bye.